There comes a moment in every person's life when they stop and ask themselves a painful question. Is this all there is? Today's story is about a man who had everything people dream of: success, status, money, yet lost the very things that made life worth living. It's a story of ambition, regret, awakening, and the surprising truth he discovered only after hitting rock bottom. This is the man who chased money and lost everything until he found truth. And it just might change the way you see your own life. There was once a man named Daniel Ward. To those who knew him from a distance, Daniel was the definition of ambition. He walked with a fast stride, talked with confident certainty, and believed that life was nothing more than a race for wealth. His motto was simple: if you're not earning, you're losing. He didn't come from money. He grew up in a cramped apartment above a noisy street where arguments were more common than laughter. From the time he was a teenager, Daniel swore he would never live like that again. He studied hard, worked harder, and climbed his way into a corporate job while his friends were still figuring out their next move. And for a while, it seemed like his strategy was working. Daniel became the one people envied, the one others asked for career advice. He drove a car that turned heads. He wore tailored suits. He posted pictures of hotel views and fancy dinners. His phone never stopped buzzing with notifications, yet somehow he felt a sense of pride every time it lit up. But beneath that polished exterior, another reality existed, one he never allowed himself to acknowledge. Daniel was tired, Daniel was lonely, and Daniel was always chasing something that stayed one step ahead of him. At 32, Daniel received a promotion that doubled his income. Most people would have celebrated, but Daniel saw it as confirmation that obsession works. Instead of slowing down, he doubled his efforts. He slept less, skipped meals, missed birthdays, canceled vacations, made promises to people he cared about, and broke them just as quickly. One day, his younger sister, Emily, invited him to her graduation. "Come on, Daniel," she said, "just this once. It's important." But he glanced at his calendar and shook his head. "I can't. Big meeting. This promotion didn't come for free." She didn't argue. She just smiled, a small, sad smile that pricked something in Daniel's chest, but he ignored it. He always ignored it. When her graduation photos were posted online, Daniel liked them, without even reading the caption. He was too busy replying to clients. Later that night, lying in bed, he wondered why he felt so strangely empty. He shoved the thought away and told himself it was normal. Hard work required sacrifice. He repeated that line so often that he believed it. People imagine collapse is dramatic, a sudden crash. But Daniel's collapse flowed in quietly, like water seeping under a locked door. The job that once made him feel powerful now made his chest tighten. His boss raised expectations. Clients grew more demanding. The company culture rewarded burnout as long as the numbers looked good. Daniel, who once had fire in his eyes, began dragging himself out of bed. He convinced himself that this was normal too. By his mid-30s, he had money. Plenty of it. But the higher he climbed, the more he felt like he was dangling from a cliff he had built himself. There were nights he would sit in his expensive apartment, staring at the city lights, feeling like the view belonged to someone else. But he pushed on. He always pushed on. Until the day everything changed. It was a Tuesday morning when Daniel received a call from a number he didn't recognize. Normally he would have ignored it, but something compelled him to answer. "Daniel? It's Emily." He hadn't heard her voice in months. She sounded tired and older. Their mother had collapsed, a sudden heart issue. Doctors weren't sure yet. They were running tests. Daniel froze. He told her he'd be there soon. But when he arrived at the hospital, his mother was already asleep. Machines beeped softly around her, a painful reminder that time was no longer something he could take for granted. Emily sat in the corner, arms folded, staring at him. He tried to speak, but she raised her hand. "Don't," she whispered. "You're here now. That's enough." But her eyes told another story. They said, "You weren't here when it mattered." And Daniel knew she was right. Their mother woke briefly, a frail, quiet version of the woman who once worked 2 jobs just to keep the family afloat. She smiled weakly and said, "Danny, long time no see." Those words hit him harder than any criticism. She went back to sleep, and something inside Daniel cracked, not loudly, but deeply. After leaving the hospital that night, Daniel didn't return to work the next day, or the day after. His phone buzzed non-stop, but he didn't answer. And for the first time in years, the silence felt louder than any alarm. He realized how many moments he had missed, how many people he had pushed away, how many memories he never got to make. He had chased money like a starving man chasing scraps, believing wealth was the cure for a poor childhood. But now, with a bank full of money and a life full of absences, he questioned everything. He didn't quit his job, not yet, but he did begin to see his life with new eyes. He noticed the pile of unread texts from his sister, the untouched vacation days, the empty spaces in his home that felt more like a museum than a life. Daniel had always believed he was building a future. Now he realized he had been burying himself in the present. One weekend, Daniel's company sent an urgent email, another mandatory meeting scheduled for a Saturday morning. Old Daniel would have attended without hesitation. But something shifted. That night, Daniel sat in his dark living room, listening to the ticking of the wall clock. He thought about his mother, his sister, his health, his life. He had money, but no peace, no joy, no connection, no identity outside his job. He said aloud, "What am I even doing?" It was the first honest question he had asked himself in years. He didn't sleep much that night, but when morning came, he made a choice that felt like stepping off a cliff, yet also like stepping into sunlight. He emailed his resignation. No explanation, no negotiation, just a full stop. His hands trembled as he pressed send, but for the first time in decades, he felt alive. The days that followed were uncomfortable. Without work to distract him, Daniel faced the person he had been avoiding the most, himself. He walked around the city for hours. He sat in cafes he never noticed before. He visited his mother in the hospital every day. He apologized to Emily, not in dramatic speeches, but in small, consistent actions. He started cooking for her, driving her home, listening when she spoke. Slowly, she forgave him, not because he asked, but because he tried. And in that quiet season, Daniel realized something profound. Life is not measured by what you earn, but by what you experience, who you become, and who you stand beside. Daniel didn't stay jobless forever. Eventually, he found work, not glamorous, not high-paying, but meaningful. He joined a small organization that helped young adults from difficult backgrounds find career opportunities. It felt right. It felt like purpose. It felt like truth. He shared his own story, not the polished success version, but the real one, the version filled with mistakes, regrets, and realizations. People listened, they connected, they saw themselves in him, and Daniel discovered that impact, not income, brought him the fulfillment he had been chasing all along. Money had given him comfort, purpose gave him life. Years later, Daniel would look back with gratitude, not regret, because losing everything he thought he wanted led him to everything he truly needed. He learned that you can earn wealth and still be poor in spirit. You can achieve success but fail at life. You can win the world and lose your soul. He also learned that truth comes quietly. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you spend your whole life sprinting, you'll never hear it. Daniel once chased money and lost everything. But in losing everything, he found himself. He found peace. He found family. He found meaning. He found truth. And in the end, that truth was simple. A rich life is not built from the wealth in your bank, but from the wealth in your heart. And the sooner you learn that, the sooner your life truly begins. If this story touched you, inspired you, or reminded you of what truly matters, then consider joining us here at Heartline Tales, where every story brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. Hit subscribe, tap like, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that purpose is worth more than any paycheck. This is Heartline Tales, where stories speak to the soul. Until next time, take care of your heart.